Welcome. I am here with one of my best friends, Kat. Kat has, we've done a video, we've done a podcast episode before, and we caught up over the phone last week and we were like, let's record another video. We had so much to share and so much to talk about. We always seem to be weaving very similar paths in life, even though it might look different on paper. And I think like many of you, something that feels really potent for us is, I mean, we just experienced the new year. Well, the calendar new year. I feel like these energies are really going to be coming through strongly in the spring, but we're already feeling inklings of them. But yeah, we were just talking about, the energy of this year and how to really make the most of this year ahead and what it is calling us to step forth into, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Kat is moving into a tiny house in the countryside with your partner. And I feel like you've been in this season of surrender, this season of being really inward over the past couple years. And I know both of us have in many ways, but now both of us are feeling more of this expansion really wanting to come through, right? I keep seeing this image of the horse, and I know it is the year of the fire horse. And I know everyone's talking about that, but I can't help but keep seeing this image of the horse and this feeling of freedom and expansion and this concept of breaking out of the confines of what many of us have been what's felt like living in for so long, right? So when I tune into this year, that's what I feel. I feel like a lot of us are being asked and also going to be breaking through the confines of these boxes we've been placed in, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a fiery energy to this year that's already being felt.
Yeah.
Like the word that I keep hearing when I tune in, like, okay, what's this year going to be like? Boldness is the word that keeps coming through. So, like you said, the ways in which we have been holding ourselves back or being in limitation, or maybe it's not even a negative thing at all. Maybe we've just been in these quiet seasons of inner refinement and just retreating inward, which is such an important part of the journey, right? We can't always be in the expansion and the outward expression of our energy. The contraction is just as important, right? Those moments, those seasons where we go inward and we are in deep listening of what we're being called into next, knowing that divine timing will strike and divine guidance will let us know clearly, okay, create this, start this, build this, step into this, be an embodiment of this, like whatever that is. And so it feels like this year is going to be a really outward year for a lot of people, where it's like all the work and all the seasons where we've been churning, fertilizing, metabolizing, we get to use that directed, clear energy towards the new. It's exciting.
Yeah. It's like very exciting. I feel like you described that perfectly, you know? And I like that you said divine timing because there is such thing as divine timing, I believe. There are seasons of life. When we're in that season, sometimes we can feel what's to come. Maybe it's months or years down the road, but sometimes what we don't always know or understand is in that season. Like you said, it's refining us, it's formulating us in order to be the embodiment of what we're stepping into. And when you were speaking, you said it's bold. I kept seeing this image of the horse and I could hear its hooves pounding, poof, poof, as it was galloping down a beach. And the horse is the embodiment of strength. Like a horse doesn't back down. Like the horse is pure muscle. The horse is, it's like it's free, it's powerful, it's strong, and
Right.
it is fully expressed in that, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, what's coming through is like, how in like with cars, like there's a reference to the horsepower of a car, right? It's like that velocity and that forward movement. And yeah, it's like what does that look like within ourselves and what we're being called into? How can we have that sort of horsepower, but in a way that's really maybe gentler at times or moving more slowly than we would think or like, right? I'm just thinking about how sometimes we have these egoic ideas of what we should be doing or,
Mhm.
the rate or the speed at which we should be doing things. But I think that's part of the deeper listening that we're being called into. It's like listening deeply to what your pace and your rhythm is actually asking of you. And I'll use an example. I was recently in El Salvador, and my partner and I did this hike up the tallest mountain in El Salvador. And so we get to the top and we're just tuning in. And what I received from the volcano was the message of slow and steady. There's no rush. And it's funny because that's not the message I was expecting. But it makes perfect sense because I tend to sometimes run on the impatient side, and I think that can be true for a lot of us, especially when you receive a vision about what the future is going to look like or what you'll be stepping into. There's this sort of um, like, oh, I want to get there now, or like, I see it. I'm going to be there now. But of course, there's things we need to move through to be shaped and formed into the person that would actually hold it, like hold that frequency and be anchored in that. Um, so as much as this year feels like a fiery, bold, forward-moving year, it's there's also this slow and steadiness that I think we're being asked to hold so that we don't burn out, so that we don't extinguish that flame or that fire. We got to keep it, nice and steady, steadily burning.
Yeah, it's like less is more, right?
Hmm.
And something that a lot of us are feeling is these very subtle. Our intuition often it speaks to us very subtle and in the quiet moments that we make the space for, right? And it's that message has been coming through so strong of the slowing down, of being more present, and that we don't have to push, push, push anymore. Like when we slow down, when we're more intentional, and when we create from this place that feels more grounded, there's actually a lot of more, I'm hearing velocity that is anchored in that experience. And because of the energetics that are with us right now, right? And yeah, whenever I feel that feeling, because it's very real feeling to feeling like I need to do this right now. I need to do more. Am I doing enough? Or maybe falling into those old ways of thinking things of how they need to be done. And my greatest practice right now is the slowing down. And you know how you know? Because it feels good.
Mm,
It feels good.
mm,
Like I just like yesterday, I spent my afternoon stretching. And I was like, there's nowhere else I want to be right now. There's something else I want to be. This just feels so good. I feel like I'm restoring my body. I'm feeling connected to my body. I'm feeling every ounce of connection within my body and spirit in this moment. Yes, there's things that I could be working on that I want to be doing, but this slowing down is like actually giving me the momentum and the fortitude to create at these levels, right? Like
mm,
creation's changing completely.
mhm.
The volcano It's like a lot of times we look at the volcano, we see and feel its power, but the volcano, yes, there's a lot happening underneath the surface, but there's a stillness, there's an anchor, and that is like that medicine is coming through really strong, that
Mm,
strength.
hmm. Right. What's coming through for me in this moment is like the wisdom of the gene keys. And one of my main gene keys is like the shadow is stress, right? So it's like the frequency that a lot of people on the planet are in, right? Where it's just like going, 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 maybe more in the mental body, living in the mind, this sort of like unrest, right?
Mm.
And with that, there's this egoic kind of like, I should be doing this, I need to be this. There's like this urgency that is really unhelpful. And so the gift is restraint. So using the power of restraint, using the ability to kind of herd the wild animals in your mind, and just bring things in order. Like the imagery I'm getting is like scattered energy that stress creates, right? Everything is scattered, but restraint is that ability to just shepherd it all in and yeah, just bring it into like a more neater way of working with the energy so that we can reach the even higher level of that, which is stillness. And so, yeah, I just felt like bringing that in because I think for a lot of people, when we step into a new year, there's like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to, like,
Mm.
and there's a way of relating to that that's really unhelpful, but there's also a way of relating that's just like organization. Just like, okay, I would love to create this and bring this into form and devote and pour into this project. Like there's a totally different energy that we get to bring to these things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, quiet, stillness, slowness is what gives us the consistency to build on that.
You're so wise, Kat. No, I
You're
feel
wise,
that.
Chels.
I feel that because it's true. The mind chatter. That's how so many people operate. I've operated like that before in my life too, right? But once you have awareness of when that mind chatter is really coming through, then you have the ability to say, oh, that's just the chatter. That's not true. That's not the truth. And it doesn't have to be this way, you
Right.
know?
Hmm.
Um, it's interesting because we were talking earlier about this concept of waking up within a sleeping world. And, as we embody these new ways of being, and I hate to say the word new because they're actually not new at all. It's like, it's not a new thing. It's just maybe more authentic, right? Or, what we're remembering.
Mm,
But when we start really embodying these ways, you do become like more separated from the crowd in many ways. You do become this more of this anomaly. And once you see, you can't unsee it, right? And so if the herd of people are acting from these ways of this rush, go, 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 the old ways, the mind chatter, it can be hard to be in that environment. So there is this level of almost like separation that sometimes we might go into, of really feeling like solitude feels very good. But also there can feel a sense of like um, maybe not being able to relate, right? Not feeling in resonance. And so there is this aspect of when you are anchoring in this way of being, there is this, how do I say, you do feel like maybe those who are resonating are fewer and far between, even though these people in the mass, they deep down, they resonate with it, they just don't realize it. in a way, right? It's almost like they've been so conformed, so conditioned, right? And so as we are, anchoring these ways of being, I notice that it can be there's this almost holding both, holding the torch of what we're stepping into and recognizing that others will meet you there when they're ready, right?
Mm. Hmm.
It's interesting and knowing that those intuitive feelings to show up in these ways, just keep following them, keep trusting them. You can't go back. You can't go back,
Right.
right? That's just coming through so strong this whole year or couple years especially, right? But
Hmm. I love the imagery you brought in of holding the torch because it's so rich with symbolism, right? It's like we're holding the torch. We're bringing light and illumination to a space that's been dark, and the darkness can represent um, just stuff that we haven't been aware of, or we're just, in terms of like asleep, like sleepwalking, like just going through the motions of life and just not really having like a sense of awareness of our own patterns or why am I even doing this thing, you know? And so like the torch analogy is so good because not only is it illuminating, but it's like you're holding it. You're holding a frequency to which others that are in your field can calibrate to, whether
Mhm.
they're aware of that happening or not. Like that's essentially what's happening when we are holding a certain frequency. And so yeah, just hearing you speak about that, it's like that's what we get to do. That's what we get to be embodiments of. And wherever we're not an embodiment, it will rise up to the surface so that we can look at it, so that we can clean and clear and refine,
Mhm.
so we can have
Yeah,
a clear signal.
nothing is nothing is hidden anymore. And it's
Mm.
quick. Things come up quick, right?
Hmm.
And it's not to reach this place of perfection, but it's just like a matter of the times. It's the energy. The energy doesn't lie, right? Everything's quickening. I've seen this image of a crystal. Things are crystal clear, and it's happening fast.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's like an attunement.
Right.
The harmonics of getting the key, like when someone plays a note on a guitar, like getting the harmonics in resonance with the note of it's like maybe there's always kind of this balancing act, and it's a practice and it's a way of life, but that is like that's what we're going through right now, right? We're
Yeah.
moving into this higher octave.
That's right. Yeah, I love that analogy too, of like we're just playing different notes and each note leads to the next one. And then when
Yeah.
we play a note that's out of harmony or it's discordant, like you could hear it. It's a dissonance, you feel it. But the most important note is the one that comes after that. And it's like correcting. It's like correcting the next note.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel like this past year, I mean, we don't need to um, organize it by years because we're always in a process of things being unearthed, right? But I feel that this past year, especially, there's just a lot of people, doing some deep inner work and some shadow work and excavating, and again, that's something that's always ongoing in certain seasons and flavors and intensities.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like, what will we do with that? Like, what will we do with all that we have fertilized, right? Like, what
Mhm.
are we going to grow and what seeds are we going to plant from that? So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what this year that we're currently in feels like. It's like
Yeah.
blooming.
So the seeds maybe have already been planted,
Hmm.
and now we're tending to our garden.
Hit me
Do we
with the
always
gardening.
do we always speak in metaphors? Oh my God.
You
No,
know?
it's true. Yeah, it's true. What are, we're tending to our garden and we're going to reap the harvest. It's
Right.
interesting too, because I think about this concept of reaping the harvest. And I think that a lot of souls, we move through this journey where maybe we get to this point where we realize that the outer accolades are actually not going to bring us happiness,
Mm,
fulfillment. Yes, we can have dreams and goals and how amazing when we reach them, right? But if that's just your focus, if that's just the root of your desires, then it will not be satiating. And so
hmm
I think many of us souls, there is this level where we move through that process where you realize, oh my God, I pursued my dreams, I did this and that, and none of it is bringing me fulfillment. And then we move through those periods of the dark night of the soul or whatnot, whatever, however it manifests. And then we come into this process of looking within. And so when I think about that word harvest, it's like I think also of that. I don't know why this is coming through, but like in the summer and the spring, I love to garden. It's like one of my
mm,
favorite things to do is to be outside and garden. And I think I get more fulfillment of tending to my garden, like watering it and watching the plants grow,
hmm
as I do of like harvesting and eating the vegetables. And so I think that feeling is coming through really strong this year. And I think like why we're finding more satiation and fulfillment in the present moment, in the slowing down, in the becoming, because we're always becoming, right? It's all
hmm
right here, right now. And so that's what we're anchoring to. It's like that's the old ways of thinking we need to arrive somewhere or become something. Oh, I feel sick just saying that. And so a lot of us, when we're embodying these new ways, that's really what's coming through very strong.
mm, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you feeling that?
Yeah. Well put. Yeah, what's coming to mind is like this general arc that many of us go on, right? And the first part is like what you spoke to around receiving these accolades and this certain level of success, right? But it
Mhm.
feeling like it's not enough. And it feels like that's a necessary part of the journey for so many people, because that in that process we individuate and it's very I based. But then we make the shift to being more we based and like, how can we help the collective that we're a part of? How can I use my gifts, talents, and abilities that God has given me to serve the people and to be of service and to help create a more beautiful world, right? Because that's how it's created. It's through each and every one of us fully coming online and opening our hearts and having the willingness and the devotion to be of service. And so I feel like that's what a lot of people are in the first part, where it's like doing the I and the figuring it out and learning more about yourself and all of that. And then when you shift into the we, I feel like that's what you're speaking to in terms of the new way. It's like in a lot of ways, what we consider the new way is actually it's like the wise ancient ways
Old
of,
ways.
community and living in a village and, using our gifts and sharing them with one another. And um, but yeah, we are moving away from a lot of old systems and
Mhm.
it's being created right now, like as we speak. And it's only going to continue building on itself as time goes on. And so I think this is where we really need to listen, um, deep listening, and get still enough to hear what's being asked of us. Because it'll be different
Yes.
for every one of us, right? Not all of us are going to be in a go, go, go sort of season, right?
Mhm.
We're cyclical and sometimes we're going to need to just stay put and go within and let things incubate. Um,
Yeah.
but the pendulum always swings and then there's like, okay, I need to start doing this thing. and you need to shift into
Hmm.
that. And so, yeah, I'm curious what you're feeling
Hmm.
as the new ways that you're speaking of. Like, how is that asking to be modeled for you?
I think that it's going to happen in the smaller moments that people don't realize it's happening in. So I think a lot of people are feeling life tired. I think people are feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling confused. They're waking up to the truth. Simultaneously, there's a lot of us, especially if you're watching this video, you've been on this path of remembrance, and we really are, like you said, like holding the torch, right? So no matter where people fall along the line, it's like it happens in the simple moments. So those feelings of like, I need more rest. I'm feeling really good, like not doing all these things and actually like simplifying my schedule and tending to my body, nourishing my body. And again, not seeking perfection, but like these little moments, these little aha moments. And then those people, once they start anchoring that feeling, then they go to work and they're like, oh, why is everyone else like rushing, 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 rushing? And then they start being the change when they start acting from this place of really grounded presence, and other people start noticing. I've had coworkers in the past be like, Chelsea, you never get flustered. You're never overwhelmed. It's like, well, yeah, I'd, I'm walking, I'm walking through life. Like, how do I explain this? It's like, for me in that experience, I just see it in perspective, right? And it's not like I'm bypassing the experience, but you almost like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you embody these ways of being, it's hard to unembody them,
Mm,
right? And so I think there is this sense of peace that people are going to be wanting to tap into more. This presence, this creation, following the calls of your soul. Like it's going to become like you can't ignore it anymore. And for a lot of us, we were going through our initiations. We were going through a process of like awakenings. So there was like this period of like intense initiation. And that was, again, like forming us and awakening us to who we truly are, right? This dissolving of everything we weren't. And now, this moment now and this moment on feels more of like the embodiment of who we've become.
mm,
So, yeah, it happens in these little subtle moments and it also happens in the big moments, right? But
mhm,
I think that I'm seeing a lot of that where people are just like, no more. I know that I'm like that point where I'm like, I just don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not going to.
mhm.
It has zero resonance for me. Zero. I literally cannot do that anymore. And so the more people I see that are going to be operating in these ways, and then also there's more momentum, there's more drive, there's more and inspiration to like, yeah, go for our dreams, go for our goals,
Yeah.
meet those people, the soul family. We're going to be
Mm.
coming in contact with like other people who are in resonance with us, and it feels very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And
Yeah.
like even with my YouTube videos, like I put them out and I get excited. You know what I said the other day? I put out my YouTube video and I said, this is so fun. I looked at my phone and said, this is so fun. And then I went about my day. And that's how it feels rather than this feeling of pressure, like I need to do this, or I feeling like maybe more of this weight on my shoulders. And that is how I feel like the energy is more so wanting to come through us of like, this just feels more fun. And like, I want to do this. I want to show up in these ways,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that, Chelsea. I could feel your excitement.
I was in bed, I was like, this is so fun. I know. And like this playful energy, right? It's like, it's true. And everyone's different,
Mhm.
It's different. But
Yeah. I just want to point out, like, that's a beautiful it's such a sign that you're exactly where you're meant to be, right? When you have the intention that you want to do this, you want to put your videos out, and there's the energy behind it that's backing it up and supporting it.
Mm.
Because what came to mind for me was all the times I've been in a particular season where it was like, bring it in, girl, like bring it in, and don't focus on the outward yet. You're still doing some refinement, right? But because I've been stubborn, life has humbled me in this department, but I've been stubborn and really wanted to be out there. I'm like, I don't want to be in contraction. I want to be in expansion. And what I experience is like, it's like the intention was there. I wanted to, but the energy wasn't backing it up. And so,
Ooh.
right? And so when I'm hearing you speak, it's like because like that excitement and that flow and that almost like effortlessness because you're in coherence, you're in alignment with that energy and you're like going with it. And that's really fun. And that's really groovy to be in that space.
No, and that's what this year feels like. It feels like this momentum, this wind beneath our wings.
Hmm.
Do you feel that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And I do want to bring in something like really tangible that's, anyone listening can take if it resonates. But what's coming through is like distraction
Mm,
and how during these times or during any time really, we need to be aware of where our energy is going and what's pulling us away, right? What's pulling us away from feeling sovereign in our energy, in our moods, in our ability to devote to our missions. Like that's so important. And something that came through for me recently was that it came through really strongly that I need to spend like the first half of my day without any input. And so by that, I mean, like on a typical day, I'd wake up and I'd grab my phone and I wouldn't start scrolling, but I would just look at my notifications. And then there's always like emails, and I would check the emails. And, maybe later in the morning, I'll have a podcast playing or an audiobook as I'm preparing breakfast or whatever. There's input. And what I received recently is that it would really serve me to like the first half of the day, no input, no
mm,
audiobook, no podcast, like just have that spaciousness. Because in that spaciousness, you can hear more clearly. The signal is more clear. The insights, the ideas, it's flowing. And when we're just filling it up with input and we're just like kind of clogging up the channel from what wants to come through us. And so in that lack of input, it's like we could create space for output, for writing, for morning pages, for whatever that is. And so yeah, I just wanted to bring that in of like being aware of where your energy is being pulled or
mm,
scattered because that distraction is it's like a downward spiral. And social media and scrolling and all of that, like it's just been coming through really strongly that that is not it. That is not us being sovereign over our energy and our attention. Like that's, there's such a high potential to be hooked into these systems and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
the delicate dance.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you feel it when you've been spending too much time doing things that are,
Right. And
you
it's like, how
know.
can we listen deeply if we have a ton of other people's voices and insights and,
Mm-hmm.
like what
Yeah.
would happen if we just created the spaciousness to just be and to
Mm-hmm.
pray and to meditate and to really just listen from within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's something that
Yeah.
feels like an important thing to keep in mind as we move through
Mm-hmm.
these times. It's like to be sovereign over our energy, our
Your energy.
attention, and our
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah, exactly. Sovereignty and our habits. Also, maybe for someone, a full first half of your day feels like really intense. Like, even if it's like for an hour a day, right? You know, and I've been
Right.
actually trying that too. But I've noticed how much I lean on music. I love music, which actually is like I don't think of it as like a bad thing per se, but I've been
Mhm.
just feeling I've noticed how much I always have to have some sort of stimulation like music or sound around me. And something I've been doing even is like when I do the dishes at night, doing it in silence. Like
Mhm.
here, let's just sit for a sec in silence.
Mhm.
It's potent.
Yeah. It's that's often when I receive a lot of insights. I'm either washing dishes or I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
Water is involved.
Yes. And that is this time. We're in a time of reclaiming our sovereignty. We have, humanity has been in this era of oppression, conformity. You know, this is the way it has to be. And so, like right now, why are people asking themselves these questions? Why are people starting to wake up? Why are people having these aha moments? And it's all rooted in coming home to our sovereignty.
Mm,
And really, it manifests in all different kinds of ways. Um, don't get me wrong. I love listening to podcasts. I love watching YouTube. I love like doing certain things that also I feel like they can fill your cup, right? And so it's like having that balance of the time to go within, the time to like energetically, you're kind of like this I'm seeing someone with their sword like and you're just becoming more of this co-creator with your life. And it's pretty cool, you know? It's like once you start kind of reclaiming that part, reclaiming your time, reclaiming that. It's true, the downloads come through, the insights come through, and then you're like, wow, I feel like I have way more time in my schedule to do all these things and um,
yeah.
out those
Yeah.
distractions.
hmm So like awareness of where our energy is at. And with that, it's not just distractions, but like for me, this practice of tuning in and asking where do I have open loops, right? Like where did I say I was going to respond to this person, but I never did, or like I never completed this thing or this task. Like it's just in the field as an open loop, and it just, yeah, it just doesn't feel good. It
Mm-mm.
feels like there's a scattering of energy, and so that's something that I've been also tuning in of like closing the loops you know, closing the loop on that certain conversation or um, this unfinished task or this thing. So it feels
Mhm.
like a lot of the guidance coming through is energy based.
Yeah, it really is. It's like our most valuable currency is our energy. Is our it's the you know it really is what we're emitting, what we're consuming.
hmm
It is. It's most people are not aware of that.
Right. Right. Most people are not. And so a lot of
Hmm.
the old world, old ways of being, the asleepness that you were talking
Hmm.
about earlier, it is that. It's like a lack of awareness. There's like a veil that's like, when that's
Hmm.
actually the most important thing.
Yeah,
Like that's where we start everything from.
yeah. I I love to dance. I love to sing, and most of it is done in privacy. Like I just since I was a kid, I've always loved in my room to just dance and sing. And it's like one of my I mean, I guess you can call it a practice, but it's more of just like who I am. And, last month I went to Costa Rica and I went to a friend's wedding and there was like all the holiday events and things and New Year's, which I loved all of that, but there was a part of me that stopped dancing, stopped singing for weeks. And I felt the shift. I felt bogged down. I felt disconnected. I felt it was really profound, even after like 4 weeks of not dancing that much or not. And then literally one day that I start dancing and singing again, literally instantaneously, I was like, oh, I feel like myself again. And it was just 30 minutes. And it was just this
Yeah.
moment of like, oh, yes, like it's just this whole functioning apparatus that when you're not tending to, it really does start getting kind of off kilter. It's like not putting
Mhm.
oil in your car.
Mm.
And so it's really important, whatever it is, whatever that is for you, you know?
Beautifully said, Chels. I'm the same
Yeah,
too. Those two practices help me feel the most anchored in myself, just dropping into the body because we're,
yeah.
in the mind. And yeah, it feels like to kind of bring it full circle, this the energy of this year feels really supportive
It
of
does.
what
It
we're
feels
here,
so supportive.
right? What we're here to create, build, like start to devote energy into. It feels so supportive of that. And, with the guidance of like slow and steady, don't burn out, it feels so important to just have that awareness of what's going on in our inner world. Am I taking care of myself? Am I practicing energetic hygiene? Like what you said, like the practices that help me feel clear, grounded, balanced. And if not, what's stopping me from doing that? And like just getting really clear on that feels like one of the most important things we can do right now.
Yeah, it feels like this interplay of life force energy mixed with presence and stillness. There's like this interplay of that too that's happening.
Hmm.
It's like the volcano from El Salvador.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that strong. And yeah, I am also seeing a lot of upheaval collectively. Like that's going to still be happening. A lot of um illumination continuing to come to light. And simultaneously, a lot of us who have been, who have walked through our path of initiations, and now we're like, I'm here to watch over my garden. I'm here to sow my seeds, if they say, is that the right term? And to harvest. It's time. It's time. It's coming through so strong.
Mm, it's
Ooh,
time.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Both are going to coexist. Both dimensional states of being are going to coexist. It's going to be like this for some time. And I think just knowing that and being able to hold both will be very important.
mm,
Yeah. And it's not to bypass any experience, right? But to have that understanding that both are true at this time, that there is a destruction and a rebirth happening simultaneously.
mm.
But the rebirth energy is coming through strong. Like I'm feeling it. I feel my whole body is, when I say that. So,
Right.
and then I just heard the train just like blast its horn. So
Choo choo.
yeah, the energy is here to support us in that. If you're feeling that, the energy is here. Yeah.
Right. So let's just shed what has run its course, what has expired, what is not aligned anymore. Like just,
I know. I'm like excited because I'm also feeling like my soul's been ready to experience more expansion, more fun, more connection, like all these things that I'm like really looking forward to at the same time, right?
mm,
Yeah.
let's do it, Chels.
Yeah.
Also feeling that too. So it'll be really cool to see what unfolds for you, for me,
Mhm.
for anyone, using their specific gifts, talents, abilities, vision, intentions. Like, just feels like a potent time.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, it's like we're all walking this path beside each other. And it's not to say that we don't ride the waves of life. There will always be waves in life, but now we're able to navigate them from this entirely different way. And
Mm,
there's this force coming through very strong. When I was in Costa Rica a few weeks ago, I saw all these horses running along the beach, and
mm,
I just can't stop seeing that image, you know,
freedom.
like freedom,
Mm,
and you
untamed.
say untamed, and you say that to a lot of people right now, and they're like, well, what do you mean? There's no, that's not our reality. And it's like, actually, we're seeding it. We're seeding it, whether you can see it or not. We're seeding it right now.
Mm,
I'm seeding it,
I love
right?
that. Yes,
So, yeah, we're
it's
here to,
happening. We're in it.
yeah, yeah, we're all little gardeners together.
In the community garden that is the world.
I know.
Mm,
I love you so much, Kat.
I
Thank
love
you.
you, Chels, so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share? Because I'm feeling like pretty.
I, yeah, I also feel pretty complete. I
Mhm.
feel, again, we spoke to the excitement and the power and the support of this year and the energy and yeah, I guess my final message for whoever's listening is to cultivate more space for deep listening, to really hear what your soul, what God, what the co-creative field that we're all a part of, what that is asking for you and how that's asking you to show up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautifully said. All right. Well, thanks, Kat. And thank you, everyone who's still watching, and sending you all so much love.
Bye.